while.
Just give me a second.
First time so many people.
We're going to get started with the Agriculture Committee meeting in just a minute. We're getting Chair Kenyon situated.
Seriously. Sometimes they just blow away in the wind. That's just very easy to get along with. For Hinckley Big Rock. And
All right, we're live. Back up.
Janice Hill.
Now that
Mr. Caius. Time.
Oh, do we have enough break in between, right?
You know, your break is
we're
over.
ready to put, we got a camera up there already. We just haven't.
Back on the track?
It will work for you to appear.
Yeah.
But I stopped.
We had, we had the minutes, yes.
Making
You did.
strange mistakes.
I saw our pollinator garden out there. It's still alive. Someone's like a little wimpy.
I'll tell you, the audio in here is really good. We pick up the audio afterwards and sample and look at it, and it's really good.
Mr. Caius,
These
we'll
next
call the meeting to order.
to the-
And the first thing is the approval of the minutes from July 23rd. Mr. Caius moves,
We need.
Stewart moves.
Point of order, do we need roll call, sir?
Mr. White, Ms. Wegman seconds. Why don't we put it all together? Okay, we'll do a roll call for attendance.
Efficiency.
Kenyon,
Here,
Caius,
Caius present.
Kopi,
Kopi's here.
Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
here.
Starrett,
Stewart present.
Surges,
Who? Okay, now we'll have a motion to,
Wegman here. Wegman.
Lakeman. Could you forget?
Alan is not on the
We have
committee,
a
but
motion, I have a
I know
motion
Ms.
to approve the minutes of Mr. Caius, seconded by Ms. Wagman. And we're ready to vote? Okay? Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Kopi,
Kopi, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Starrett,
Stewart, yes.
Wegman. Yes.
Molina, yes. There was one correction. I guess it's not important, but I was present at the start of the meeting and then I had audio issues at the end. So if that can just be corrected, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, are you okay with me just amending that?
Yeah. Oh, I
Okay,
am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, for our new guests, because we have so many people online, we have to do a voice vote, a roll call vote, with the exception of adjourning, and we can just do it by voice. So this is not too bad for a little group like this, but for the county board, there's just a lot of names that have to be called. Is there anybody here for public comment? Okay, under partners, Hinckley, Big Rock, Future Farmers of America, Nan Long is going to talk. Nan, if you could take your mask off, it'd be easier to hear you.
Gotta get her to the right slide, Mark.
That's okay.
You've got the floor.
Good morning. Yeah, I am. I'm attending the ag meeting sort of remotely from my office here.
Who? Who's that?
Barry Hunt, he's on the phone. He doesn't mute his mic on his.
Okay.
You got it. I didn't mute.
Okay, Nan?
Okay, ready? Okay, thank you for having me this morning to talk about our building project at the Hinckley Big Rock High School FFA Alumni Association. HBR district has a strong history of ag education programming and an RFFA chapter, as well as it's been about 50 years, I think. We're pretty close or just over that. We feel this project is an excellent opportunity to support the chapter and their interaction with the community. 2 years ago, our students planted the Royal Orchard in hopes of learning about the orchard industry while providing fresh fruits for our community. The building will house these items needed for the orchard and provide a safe, clean, and usable environment. But the building will not be limited just to orchard activities. Our chapter also has an extremely active greenhouse built by donors from the community as well. This structure will provide space for the sales of bedding plants, poinsettias, and various other products grown by the students in their programming. On top of all of this, the building holds a possibility for providing meeting space for grain plot activities and other needs the chapter may have. We've taken a monumental task. It's our goal to purchase and erect a 50 by 80 wood frame agriculture building, as well as finish the interior, providing the possibility for educational space, workshop area, storage, and my favorite, the point of sale area for the students to learn that aspect of agriculture. So far, we have received funding from many community organizations and local businesses. We've applied for multiple grants with the help of the next stages in this, to help with the next stages in this project. We currently are planning our second annual progressive golf event and an engraved brick fundraiser for the sidewalk and entrance of the building. The alumni would like to provide this opportunity at no cost to the district or the students. And the project is estimated to be about $150,000. It would not be possible without the support of our community and business individuals who realize how essential it is to provide support for our students interested in all aspects of agriculture, of the agriculture sector. The first phase of our project involved removing a damaged building that was on the site and cleaning up the site and preparing it for the new building. Building a framed building, roof and siding on the building, all done by volunteers. And we have nearly raised the funds to finish phase one. Here are some pictures. This is our orchard view. We already have apples on our trees after 2 years. And as I said, this was all erected by volunteers. Clicker. There we go. Oops. It'll include a porched area. And then this is where we're at this point. We also have an overhead door that you can't see in the rear that will be the shop area. Phase two will include concrete flooring, framing up the dividers for the classroom, high vac and electrical, plumbing, drywall, and again, this will all be provided by volunteers from our communities. Phase three will end with classroom equipment, apple orchard processing equipment. My personal wish is that the kids will be able to learn cider press skills, and then packaging and sales equipment for the retail side. And at this time, the phase 3 cost is really unknown. We haven't gotten in any farther than that, so. Anyone have any questions that I could answer, or? That's all I have. I just kept it short and sweet.
No questions? Come on,
Yes.
there.
For phase 3, oh, we're. Right, when we get to phase 3, it'll be equipment, classroom equipment, probably a freezer or cooler, because at some point, we're hoping to be able to have the horticulture kids they do a flower arranging section, so maybe we'll have availability for them to sell arrangements at some point in the springtime. Our greenhouse is already there and it is doing well. They are learning a lot about all different aspects of that. They do have a plant sale every year, so this is going to give them, this building is right on Route 30, so it'll give them much more higher visibility if they can bring the product up to the road for the consumer. So they're going to have opportunities to learn about all of that type of stuff and health issues in packaging and that kind of thing as well, I would assume.
And why don't you pull your microphone so we can hear you too?
I know better than that. Okay, so what I suggest is that you start to put together your detailed list of what you need for the inside, and we work with the Farm to School Network pretty closely, and then we're always watching for those grants. And then, we'd be happy to work with you on that Farm to School
fabulous.
grant so that we can get that interior built out.
Oh, wonderful, thank
Okay,
you.
so yeah, because that kind of equipment is, especially for all the work that you've done so far, just to bring that to the finish line.
But
so-
we're actually only in phase 1 at the moment. We
Right.
haven't.
But by the time those federal grants, they take a
Yes,
long
that's true. It
time,
takes
right?
time, yes.
So now's the time to think about that, even though that's way down the line, because those federal grants take a while. And then we can, package that in with, especially because you already have those orchards producing.
Mhm.
So you have that proven. And then we already have even though you're technically not located in Kane County, you're serving Kane County students, you're
Right.
within the statewide Farm to School network. It all works together. You're a partner.
Great, thank you so much. I will be in touch.
Yes.
Anyone
please do.
else?
Mr. Mark Van Kirkhoff.
Good morning. Yeah, thank you for coming this morning. I think what Janice is trying to say is, what you have accomplished is remarkable.
Thank you.
So,
I found it pretty amazing too. In a month,
Now-
we got the building up.
Yeah, so you should feel really excited. I think we're excited to see what you've accomplished, and with our experiences with grants and programs is once you get to this point, it's kind of like the snowball, rolling down the hill. Now you're really got momentum. Funders see that you've gotten things done and little pieces begin to come together, but you've really done the heavy lift of getting a building up and a facility and a vision laid out. So we're happy to help and include you, with one of our partners and let you know of grant opportunities. So
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Terry Hunt's online and he'd like to say something, correct?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I would just like to echo the sentiments that Mark just expressed. I live in Big Rock, used to coach basketball at the HBR school. I know how active and effective the local FFA program has been, and I would just encourage this committee to work with the local FFA chapter in this regard. I've watched the building going up as I drive back and forth, and while the facility itself is outside the Kane County border, it certainly serves many Kane County residents and students. And I just know for a fact that it's a very, very impressive and effective organization, and would encourage you to support it. So thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Mr. Caius, did you want
Well,
to say something also?
Just to echo didn't have any questions because I'm so amazed.
Yeah.
It's what you've done. And they are marketing right now, plants and things as well.
Oh,
did you
yes,
say?
they
So
have
they have a
been,
greenhouse and
they've
it's
been
already
marketing a-
producing and marketing.
yes, they have been marketing from, in the greenhouse area for, oh my goodness, I think 10 years. They've had the greenhouse and they do poinsettias and they teach the kids floral wreath making and also holiday wreath making with evergreens and stuff. They bring them in. And the kids do grow poinsettias every year. They also they start and grow all the seedlings for their plants that they sell in the spring. So our horticulture program is very strong. And then again, with the apple orchard is just, we had like 2 apples last year and this year we've got quite a few more.
2
so.
years for production, to
I
have
was-
apples producing is, when I was familiar with it, it was like 5 years before they really got
I
any.
know,
kind of
I
commercial.
don't, I'd have to
That's-
ask some
that's amazing.
questions about that because I was pretty surprised at that. We had them already out as well, so. It's a small
Great.
crop, I mean, it's just getting started, but
Good luck.
thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, and thank you for all the effort you put in.
Oh,
That's what makes this country and this county work, people like you.
what
Oh,
takes a
Kane
village.
County Farm Bureau, and we have a rare treat today. Its president is here to speak to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Steve mentioned, I'm Joe White. I am president of the Kane County Farm Bureau. I live in Caneville Farm, corn, soybeans on about 1,100 acres. I have one son that does about 200 acres of hay, and then another son that does 20 acres of fall decor, pumpkins, gourds, Indian corn, those kinds of items that he wholesales. And I think the hay son is in his 3rd cutting, and the harvest of the pumpkins will probably start around the 1st of September. So they're going to get busy. As Mike mentioned, I am taking the seat for our manager, Mr. Arnold, today. He is visiting his grandchildren in Colorado and enjoying his time off. But I wanted to start by thanking Kane County Water Resource Department and also the Forest Preserve in helping us design and construct and plant the rain garden that we have out in the front lawn of the Farm Bureau. We had about 25 people attend and help with the planting. Went real well. The only problem was that night after we finished planting, we had a pretty severe rain event. And obviously it's a rain garden. That's where the water runs through the lawn. So it ran right down through the middle of it and washed out some of the plantings and whatnot, but it's all been reconstructed and we just had a meeting a week ago and it all looks fine at this point in time. So hopefully it'll root down and it'll provide protection for the water runoff from our lot. The other thing I wanted to mention is how COVID has affected our association. We're used to in-person meetings in our association. Nearly every event that we had planned for this spring had to be canceled because it's meeting with the public, and obviously we weren't able to have those events. So we've been kind of scratching our heads on what we can do. We hope next year will be different than this year, obviously, and we can continue some of the programs that we had, such as our Touch a Tractor event. That typically gets between 1,000 and 1,500 people onto our lawn to visit with farmers and to look over the machinery that's been brought in and whatnot and ask questions of members of our organization. So we hope to get back to that. That is one of our purposes as an organization, is to inform and communicate with the public. As far as our meetings go, we started out with virtual meetings, much as like what you have here. We have gotten back to a meeting in person, meeting the social distancing requirements, and I really think that's a better way of meeting for us. I know it works differently for everybody, but for us, I think it's the in-person meeting is a much better event for us than it is communicating online. And we only have the capability of phone communication. We don't have virtual communication as far as video. So it does make it difficult running a meeting, as Mike alluded to earlier. As a president of a county farm bureau, I'm also involved in a couple of state activities. I serve our district, which is District 1, which includes DeKalb, Kane, McHenry, and Lake counties and Kane, on our, what we call our resolutions committee. And that is the process, the grassroots process that Farm Bureau does every year to develop the policies that we as an organization will vote on come our annual meeting. And here again, that COVID has changed that whole process. Typically we meet in July. That meeting was postponed until, here August 2nd or 7th, I forget which day it was we met. We did meet in person, here again, meeting the social distancing requirements, but rather than breaking down into small subcommittees, we all met as a group. So there's 18 districts in the state, so there's 18 presidents along with staff, and the chairman, who was the vice president of the Illinois Farm Bureau, chairs that committee. So we met, and typically we'll have somewhere between 50 and 70 resolutions that are submitted by county farm bureaus to the resolutions committee. We had 7 this year, and that's a direct result of the county farm bureaus not being able to meet. Now, we will have another meeting in November, and we're hoping to generate more policy resolutions as county farm bureaus get back to meeting in person and whatnot. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out. From there, we go to our annual meeting, which has already been decided. It will be a virtual annual meeting, and the Illinois Farm Bureau Board was meeting this week, yesterday and today, and they're going to finalize the decisions on how that's going to be conducted, but it's certainly going to be virtual. Typically, we would go into Chicago and hold our annual meeting. That's been canceled. It's going to be done virtually, as I just mentioned. And we're just going to have to see how it goes, but it's going to be different for everybody, just as all of you have experienced the same processes. The other committee that I'm involved in on the state level is what we call our Future of the Organization Committee. And that's a committee to kind of brainstorm where we think the state organization is going into the future. Here again, we've missed a couple of meetings, but we've got one scheduled for the end of this month. And I think the topic of discussion is probably going to change from what we had initially talked about back in the spring with the COVID event. We as an organization have in the past and probably will in the future are always meeting. We got meetings to go to anytime you want, pretty much. So that's all changed. We're going to have to try and deal with virtual meetings, and that's difficult when you start thinking about the state of Illinois. There's a lot of areas that don't have broadband access like we have in this part of the state. So some of those smaller counties in southern central Illinois are having a difficult time connecting with the virtual world. So as an organization, we have to take that into consideration and make sure that we can involve all of our members in what we do as an organization. So with that, I entertain any questions anyone might have, and certainly appreciate the opportunity to meet with you.
Did you do something else besides the pollinator garden?
Oh, yes, we did. We actually had our scholarship awards presentation the next day, Sunday. The pollinator garden was Saturday. We had the scholarship presentations Sunday, and then we also had concluded our fundraiser, our truck raffle, vintage truck raffle fundraiser. We had that drawing Sunday also. So that's our main fundraising activity is that vintage truck raffle, and actually had a very successful raffle this year. And here again, learned a number of things when it comes to how we go about managing that and selling our tickets and whatnot. So I think we learned a lot from what's happened this year.
How many scholarships did you give out?
There were 18 scholarships that we awarded. There's a number of memorial scholarships that we administer. We do 4 or 5 from AGCO scholarships that we administer, and then another 4 or 5 memorial scholarships. So between those and then the general scholarships that the Farm Bureau offers, we awarded 18, which was actually 100% of the applicants received a scholarship. And as I forget how many years we've done this, it's been probably 20 years that we've had the scholarship program, but we've exceeded total scholarship amounts of about $500,000 that we've awarded over the last 20 years.
These scholarships are available to people that are even non-farm, correct?
Yes, it's open to all of our members. And then in addition to that, some of the memorial scholarships don't require a membership. So we do cover a broad range of applicants.
I can testify it's a pain, but the reward is helping youth get an education. Are there any other questions? Mr. Kayas?
Well, that was my question, so the foundation, your sales, your fundraiser was successful then?
Yes, it was. We were worried. We were really concerned early, but it took off,
Yeah.
and we had a good fundraiser.
And one comment was that they gave it the truck again this year to the wrong person. It's my truck.
We still have the truck. believe
I see
or
it parked
not.
out front. Maybe just holding it for me?
Oh,
Is
well,
it Gerke one?
we can talk.
One more chance for you. Chris, you can buy a
always-
ticket for the next.
Always next year.
Yep.
If you have nothing else, we'll move to Northern Illinois Food Bank. Are you online? No, they're not, nobody's online for them, so Teresa is gonna, no report from her. Under presentation and announcements, Farm School Program Budget Adjustment, Matt Tinsley.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody. Today, I would just like to summarize a resolution before the committee for a budget adjustment. This is for the JJC Farm to School program. And there are, let's see if I can pull this up. A couple of reasons why we're asking for a budget adjustment. The main reason is because basically we have spent less on contractual and consulting services in the first year of the program and more in the second year. So it really balances out. So we're just kind of adjusting when we're spending the money relative to the two program years. And so the biggest expense under that contractual and consulting category was for the Farm to School program coordinator. So this is the consultant that we hired to do a lot of the program management, to kind of keep everything on track. And we didn't hire that person until relatively late in the first year of the program. And so most of the expense for her contract came in the second year. So that's one of the reasons that we're asking for the adjustment. And the second reason is that we submitted a revised project proposal to USDA. And so we are asking to repurpose some of the funding that had been set aside for planning division staff. And because that funding is not needed for that purpose, we're asking to repurpose that for some new program activities as well as some new material investments for the JJC garden. And so just to kind of summarize some of those proposed investments, this is really what we're looking at. So we would like to purchase and have a hand washing station installed for the outdoor garden. This would just really be an enhancement to the safety of the students and the staff working there. It's just a lot better for everybody's welfare if there's a hand washing station on site that they can use before and after their work in the garden. We're also proposing a new, what we're calling our Farmers in the Classroom speaker series. And the idea behind this is that we could use some of that funding to pay for stipends for agriculture professionals to either come into the classroom and give presentations to the students, or to do it if we need to through some sort of virtual presentation or medium. But again, the idea is to give the students more exposure to the profession of agriculture and different career opportunities. And so we're hoping to connect them with different professionals in the field. Some of the smaller investments include a UV grow light system. So this is going to allow the science teacher to do more seed starting in the classroom and get the students involved in a couple more hands-on ways in the classroom. And in the last presentation back in July, you saw some of the artwork that the students were creating in the garden space. So we're asking for some additional art supplies so they can continue to decorate and to customize that space for their use and to their liking. The most significant investment that we're asking for is to install an orchard outside of the garden space. This would really provide a lot more fruit that could be used, both in the tastings in the classrooms, as well as that could be added to the cafeteria food service items. So they're already using the produce that's grown in the garden, but this is really going to add to the amount of fruit that's able to be grown on site and used in the cafeteria. And the trees we also envision as being able to provide some shade to the garden area, because they're going to be just outside of the enclosed area where the students are able to do gardening currently. We're also asking for, the teachers have requested some curriculum resources in terms of electronic and hard copies of textbooks. So this includes horticulture basics and the science of horticulture. So this is going to enhance the curriculum offerings provided in the science classroom. And then just to round it out, we're just going to be adding some garden safety supplies to that request for materials. And so that's going to cover some protective wear for the students, washable footwear and gloves. So these are investments that are really going to round out the program and just make it a better experience for the students, really for years to come. So it's going to be an upfront expense, but it's going to last, and it's going to make for a better farm to school experience. And so the budget adjustment is mainly just to approve some of the shifts in funding, the increase in funding for the 2020 program year, as well as just moving some of those funding pools into different categories. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Caius?
So this is not additional expenses, this is more bookkeeping, moving.
Exactly, yeah. So at the
One
end of the
area.
day, the total revenue and total expenses is going to be the same. We're essentially just changing when the funding is being spent and what the funding is being spent on.
What's JJC?
The Juvenile Justice Center?
Okay, and that has about 80 beds over there, I think I heard. And we take students from 4 counties or 5?
It's, yeah, last I recall, it's at least 5 counties. I don't have those.
We have the juvenile justice building, and we take children from other counties, and the only, I always thought the only thing wrong with it is, too bad they can't stay there because they get a lot better education than where they came from, some of the young people. Especially now with this garden, it's very, very great. It's great that you're doing this. Mr. Mark.
Just want to add, one of the reasons we're able to shift from what we had budgeted in the grant for staff budget to actually do some of these great items is because of the way our partners have really embraced this program. The teachers, the JJC staff, everybody has just really accelerated their ownership and their investment in it. So we're really excited to be able to take more of the grant funds and actually in things that are going to be permanent and lasting. So we're very excited about that.
You have a history in Kane County of taking available money. If you don't ask for it, you'll never get it. So, and Janice has been a big leader in that. Now, do we can do that next, or do you want to do it now? We need a motion for the budget adjustment. Mr. Caius moves.
Starrett, seconds or
No,
thirds.
Ms. Wagman has been waiting, Stuart. I'm sorry.
Way to go, Penny.
And is there discussion on this? We all understand it? Okay, we'll have roll call.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Copey,
Copey, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Starrett,
Starrett, yes.
Wegman? Yes.
Stands approved. Is there anything else, Matt?
I'm sorry?
Do you have anything else to add?
No, I
Okay, then we have accepting the Compeer Financial Grant, Janice Hill.
Yes, I announced last month that Compeer Financial has granted Kane County $10,000 for Kane County local food farmers for vegetables, fruit, meat, and dairy. Mini grants that we can release to help them adjust to the demands of COVID. Matt and Tony will be working on the actual grants that will be announced shortly, but in the meantime, we do have this resolution that you'll need approval to be able to actually accept that grant, and then we'll need to have that financial adjustment in our budget because of course we didn't anticipate that at the start of the budget year. We didn't know that this grant would be announced. Grateful to receive it, but we'll need to make that actual adjustment in our Growing for Kane budget to accept that grant and make room for that in our budget. And once that's done, then we'll be able to adjust our actual budget accordingly. We actually have the funds in hand already because they've sent the check, but we need to address the bookkeeping.
So I'd like to know, Ms. Starrett, could you make that motion? We have to share this.
Yes, I definitely can. And thank you, Chair.
So she will make the motion. Mr. Sanchez would like to second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Copey, Copey,
Copey, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Starrett,
Starrett, yes.
Wegman? Yes.
Stands approved. Thank you for doing this, Janice.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else from you, Janice or Mark?
No, just a thank you to Matt and Janice on both programs. Our entire team has been real, busy working with our partners and connections, let them know about assistance available through the federal and state programs, but more importantly, continuing to go after other nonprofit and other grant sources to help our farm and other businesses as well. So thank you both.
Don't want to talk about the chicken farm that might come here? It's no longer a rumor, we know about it. But it has to go before they have to talk to get approval, right?
Yes, any operation has to meet stormwater and other ordinance requirements as well as the zoning.
Anyway, there's a proposal to maybe locate a chicken farm out on Rorson Road, Rorson and 47. And it's a long way from being done. Got to have a lot of water and electricity there to make it work. Because we see these, we drive by this stuff all the time. You see these container trucks and you wonder, what's going on? They can't possibly raise chickens there without some kind of ventilation. But anyway, it's got the Forest Reserve's attention as the neighboring farmers. But you can't fool us, not for long. I'm just kidding.
Not even trying.
Yes. Is there anything else to come before the committee? What's this? What are you going to tell me? Oh, I have a prize today. This is called White Farms Honey Apiary. This would be your son, Joe? It's actually my cousin. It's your cousin? There are a lot of whites around. Anyway, they raise this honey and the Farm Bureau sells it. It would be the prize this time. I would ask this question. Where is the new building for the FFA being located? Okay, where is it? What? All right. That's good enough. So you
About
win the
30 Big Rock.
prize. There you go. So fast. Just so fast. Oh, listen, this is.
Bond stock wins, for
This
those
is
of people who
the
can't see it.
fruit of all your labor, you finally get something that you can use. Local honey for any possible health problems. We need a motion to put the reports on file. Mr. Caius, Ms. Swagman, discussion, seeing none. Oh, roll call. I wouldn't forget.
Okay. Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Hopi,
Hopi, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Starrett,
Starrett, yes.
Bregman.
Yes.
Stands approved. We need a motion to adjourn. Although I see
Motion
one
to
hand.
adjourn.
Who else?
Starrett.
Wegman moves to adjourn. Starrett seconds. All in favor, say aye.
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 We're done. We're done. That's it. Did you see you get your farm week? Did you get your farm week? Did not. Did you see the picture of the storm and